Hi friends, Sally the Seeker here. We are getting ready to watch Darrell's cross-examination of Detective Casey, which was in the last video. He has on a suit. Bless his heart, it's a bit large, but hey, he's got a suit on. Looks like his mask is on wrong side out yet again. At least it's covering his mug. And I don't always remember to say this, but I am not an attorney, a psychiatrist, psychologist, and not even a professional camera person, because obviously my technology is still work in progress, but I appreciate those of you who are sticking with me anyway, because hopefully we can still have a good time as I continue to try to improve. I know someone commented about the audio. I don't know. Like I said, I am technically challenged. As far as photography, I love it, but my main thing was still photos, so you don't have to worry. The technology isn't as challenging there, but enough of that. We're here now, and we're here to get annoyed with Darrell and roast him and, and feel sorry for those who have to put up with him. And just remember, be kind to everyone, to one another in the comment section. And my big thing is about being kind. So, without further ado, let's proceed. I believe the sound is off and he is talking to somebody. Of course, fiddling with his files.
All right, good morning, everyone. The court will call State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks, case number 21 CF 1848. May I have the appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sue Upper, Leslie Basie, and Zach Witchow, all appearing for the State of Wisconsin.
All right, sir, please state your name for the record.
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value, in return for value, all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
All right, the record should reflect that the individual known to this court as Darrell E. Brooks appears in person and in custody. He is in street clothing today, in a suit and tie, also wearing a mask. I checked with Mr. Brooks before calling the case if he had any documentation to provide to the court or to the state. I did look at a number of subpoenas. I told him I would be able to look at those for completeness. And the one thing I noted was that there was a date and time for the appearance that was not included. And so I just wanted to address that on the record. Since, of course, this is a multi-day, multi-week trial, typically individuals, whether it be the state or a defendant, would put the first day of trial on the subpoena unless there was some other information to suggest a different date. Obviously, we've already started, but I can ask the state if they, given kind of how things have been proceeding thus far. I know originally you had thought it would take 5 to 7 days for you to present your case in chief. Are we still on target for that from when we started the taking of testimony?
Yes, from when we started the taking of testimony, yes. Right now we are projected to wrap up our case Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. So that would be within that 5 to 7 day range, Your Honor.
All right. Certainly would be reasonable if you picked a date, either Thursday or Friday, if they show up. which presumably they would, right, if we're able to get all of these, not me, but if the state's able to assist, given what they've said earlier in getting the subpoenas out, then even if we weren't quite to that point, I can certainly bring people in and let them know when to come back, and that's pretty typical.
So, Your Honor, just so I'm clear, so I put, so that would be roughly the 13th to 14th?
Today's the 10th, so Thursday would be the 13th and Friday would be the 14th. And then I didn't look very close to the names and whether you had addresses, but you should put in their last known address or other information as to where these people can be served if you know.
I was going to mention that too. That's kind of problematic because a lot of them, their addresses are not stated in the paperwork. So I don't
Are
know.
all of these individuals referenced in the paperwork that you've reviewed?
Yes, they are.
All right. Presumably then, Attorney Opper, you'd be able to look at that and perhaps assist with that information?
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, everyone's address is somewhere in the paperwork, but yes, I'm sure we will be able to find addresses.
The other omission I noted, and not necessarily your fault, is these were stamped by our clerk of court, which is standard. I will direct my clerk with your approval to put today's date for the date that these are all signed by the clerk of court's office, okay? Is that a yes? I thought I saw you shake your head yes. I just want to confirm for the record. Okay.
I mean, it's just a lot of this, that I expressed last week that I wasn't really sure how to get done. So
yes, you're overburdened.
Whatever assistance is greatly appreciated.
But
right,
did
so
you thank
Madam
them?
Clerk is directed to.
Is greatly appreciated. But does he thank them? Did he thank them? I don't think so. I think really pretty much what he does is hurls insults about how things aren't fair and the state this, the state that, and it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. I'm just noting that for the record. He seems very calm today, but come on, that's going to change. We know.
Put in at the top left, and then what I'll do is I'll keep a copy for the court's records, and then give you a copy, and then we'll give the originals to the state so they can look over them and then tell us if there's any issue with trying to get them served. But I need to get that to them this morning with your approval so they can let us know if there are any issues. Do you agree to that, sir?
Yeah, I just got to put the dates in again, correct?
Yes, yes. It would be fine if you did Friday morning. I mean, even if the state got done a little bit early on Thursday afternoon or something, and we, in theory, had time to call a witness, I'm happy to just go to the next morning so that it's clear.
What should I put for the time?
8:30.
Oh, look at that. Bless his heart. Judge is letting him complete his
Let me know
homework
when you're done
papers.
so I can address a couple of other issues.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to wait while he does this. Isn't that something? Wow. I'm someone who can't stand to hold up anyone. If I go through a drive-through, I want to make sure I know everything I'm going to order before going through. If I'm in the grocery store, I want to make sure I get all my items unloaded and don't stand there like a stick in the mud. And I guess that's the difference though, between us and him. We are class and he is trash. But I would be going, well, number one, hopefully I wouldn't even be in this position. I would have had that done. And, he really, I don't believe, unless any of y'all have seen any indication, that he has any problem holding up everyone. Of course not. What a silly question. He loves the power. And now he has Bubba to keep him warm at night. Wow. The cameras are rolling. Well, at that time, live TV. While he's finishing his paperwork. Oh my gosh.
Do you have the preliminary jury instructions?
Yeah, I cannot be a judge. I cannot be a jury, a member of the jury. Because I would rush to judgment and say, oh my God, lock him up. And as a judge, couldn't do it. That's why they do it, and I don't. That suit. I know we've talked about his suit before, but it's enormous. It's enormous on his little tiny frame.
If you tell me the number, I can also look that up.
Mind your business and keep filling out your paperwork. Don't worry about listening to them. Don't you love how important he's trying to look or thinks he looks? Okay, let's check out the fingernails. And I'm serious. I know I've talked about how he's looking around. Is he paranoid that the prosecution is trying to steal his information?
Madam Clerk is copying those subpoenas so that the court has a copy, Mr. Brooks has a copy, and then the originals go to the state to review and assist with service. I do want to address Exhibit 6, which was previously received by the court. This is the 6-minute squad cam and audio footage from Officer Phillips. As I advised last week, after I went back into chambers to review that, I did note what Mr. Brooks had said. I may have been a little bit off on the language in terms of what Ms. Patterson is heard saying, but it's a pretty clear reference to one of the incidents that is the subject of a prohibition by this court related to other acts. And I indicated I was inclined to strike that exhibit, and so advise the jury, but I would give the parties an opportunity if they had any arguments on that to address that this morning. So since the state offered it and there is that violation, I'll turn to the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I do offer my apologies to the court and to Mr. Brooks because the previous occasions where we had watched that video, we did not catch that. I think the record will speak for itself, but there was a lot going on in that video. As you had mentioned previously, the officer's radio is talking. You can hear the dispatcher, you can hear other officers, and you can hear some people talking in the distance as well. So we did mistakenly include that. However, that being said, Your Honor, I think it's a clear reference to the other acts only if you know there's other acts. Truthfully, I think it's a vague and ambiguous statement. What I heard the statement to have been at about the 2:52 mark in the recording, I heard Miss Patterson say, "Me and my baby daddy, we fight all the time. We had an incident, he ran me over with a car." That's what I heard her to say. She does not say it happened in Milwaukee. She does not say it happened 3 weeks ago. She does not say I suffered a broken leg. To me, in the context of Miss Runkle's testimony last week, in which she testified that Mr. Brooks had swerved at Erica Patterson, and that Ms. Runkle had pulled her out of the way. I don't think the jury would have immediately thought Erica Patterson, when she made that statement, if they heard it, was referring to something weeks earlier in another county at another location. Really, the only thing objectionable about that whole quote I just issued would be the very last phrase, "He ran me over with a car." And again, if she's referring to the Milwaukee incident, it's not clear from that statement. I certainly understand, with the knowledge of the Milwaukee incident, there's a reasonable interpretation that's what she was talking about, but she may also have been talking about the events of November 21st, even to an objective standard on this record, Your Honor. I don't think the jury would have realized or appreciated she was talking about another incident. So I think the exhibit can stand as is. We could redact just about a 2 or 3 second audio from that recording where those words are removed, and I listened to it several times over the weekend. I think if we did that, it would not be that obvious, so that the exhibit could stand in place. The officer, if you recall, the timing is he's getting out of his car and he's approaching them, and she makes that statement about "he ran me over with a car," but then her very next sentence is, "There's nothing happened, nothing's going on, nothing to be worried about here." And she's essentially trying to convince the officer not to do anything. So again, I think that also supports our contention that if we strike the exhibit, or we strike words from the exhibit, we may be calling undue attention to something that was very vanilla to this jury, that they really wouldn't have thought twice about, given the testimony of Corey Runkle and Erica Patterson that was already on the record. So we would offer to redact that portion if appropriate, but it may also be appropriate just to leave it stand as is. And should they ever ask to see that exhibit again, we would prevent that from being played a second time.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you have a position on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious to me. I can only hear out of one ear, and I was able to hear clearly what was said.
Mm-hmm.
With all due respect, Your Honor, you made a ruling about this previously, in ample enough time before the trial even started. You made the ruling. I see no reason why the exhibit should be admitted into evidence. From my perspective, it's clearly obvious what was being referenced. I mean, if she was able to give any type of statement at that time to the officer, then obviously she wasn't hit at that time on that date, on the 21st. She would clearly be referencing some other incident. Hence the reason why we argue all the time in this, that, and the third. It was clear to me what was being referenced.
And you run over her.
Because of the ruling, because of the implication in that statement, I believe the exhibit should be striked altogether.
Thank you for your position, Mr. Brooks. And the reason why last week I said I'm inclined to strike it, but I wanted to give the parties an opportunity to review it over the weekend, is in some respects because of what the state just said. There's information on that clip, at least from Ms. Patterson, that I didn't know if you wanted to come in or not, about nothing happened here, right? Those types of statements. So that's why I give the parties a chance to look it over and then come back to court and tell me what they want to do. So your position has been made clear. You believe it should be struck or stricken, as we say. And I agree with you, Mr. Brooks. This court gave a very clear prior ruling related to other acts, and the state had an obligation to abide by that ruling. While I have options available to me, meaning I could redact it, if the jury wants to hear it later on. My concern with redaction is it may possibly highlight that portion. We don't know whether any one of these jurors heard it and made a note about it. And that's certainly not something I'm going to ask them to reveal. And because of the violation, and even though there's other things going on, even though I could redact, I am going to strike this exhibit and so advise the jury. As far as advising the jury, I simply want to tell them the following when they come into court today. Is previously the court received Exhibit 6 during the testimony of Officer Phillips. The jury is hereby advised that the court has stricken this exhibit, and the jury is to disregard anything it may have heard regarding what was on that exhibit.
Well, so she gave him one. Okay. No biggie, honestly. It's, it's not going to affect anything. Well, even if we did know the outcome, I doubt that something like that would really affect it. So let's see now. Whenever she tells him no about anything, he goes on and throws a fit and blah, 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 blah. Let's see how the state takes it. Do you think Attorney Opera will throw a fit and cry? Do you think we'll see a tear run down DA Zach's cheek? Let's see if they pitch a big fit.
Any objection to that language from the state?
No.
How about from you, Mr. Brooks?
Well, see, there you go. You happy now, buddy? Bless your little heart. She gave you a crumb.
All right, then, I know
Staring, wow.
last week I also had indicated I had asked the Sheriff's Department to prepare an incident report regarding one of the occasions Mr. Brooks was removed from the courtroom. I've been advised it's been dictated and I believe written. I haven't seen it yet, but I did follow up on that this morning. I believe I'll have it at some point today and we'll turn that over to the parties.
To the 6th, Thursday, October the 6th.
That was in reference to the incident where, if my memory is correct, where there was not about the COVID test, but about the needing you to sit down so that, I don't remember if you were over there or here or what, but they needed to get those restraints either on or off so that you could be situated, and that's where you had indicated you had been hurt. So that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to have a record of that here.
I think that was the 6th. I also want to...
Yeah, but you also want to, I will get back to him. But yeah, that's when he got that little bitty cut and maybe a bruise or something that he needed to receive medical attention for. Ugh. All right, let's go.
State for the record that I was given paperwork to fill out a report of my own.
Oh, God,
and I stressed that because after the detectives came and took the pictures of my bruises and injuries,
Jeez.
I was told that they didn't know when I would actually get the actual filing of the report that they were going to report. So I just went ahead and asked for my own. I filled that out. I don't know if it's been given to the right parties yet,
You're talking about the inmate complaint form to have the either the jail or the sheriff's department review that related to the use of force.
Yeah, it was the top paper was from the sheriff.
All right, you know that that's not my responsibility to address what happened, other than how it impacts this trial, which is why.
What happened there? I don't think your little cut is going to impact anything. What's happening here? Okay. Yeah, his little big cut is not going to impact anybody. Okay.
Right.
That
I
was
don't
on
have
them,
anything
not me.
else on my list of things. I don't know if the
That's their
state does
blurriness,
or
not
Mr.
my
Brooks,
technical
so I will
challenges.
ask the state first if there's anything you believe I should address prior to the jury coming back out.
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask that some of the witnesses that testified last week be released from their subpoenas, especially now that we have Mr. Brooks' witness list. Specifically, I'd be referring to Corey Runkle, Officer Phillips, Kyle Edwards, Holly Berg. I note on his list today, he does still have Erica Patterson and Detective Guth. At some point, we'd like to be heard about that, but we don't need to delay the jury at this point.
All right, any position on their request, Mr. Brooks?
I guess my objection to that would be Officer Phillips. That would be one that I would still like to be under subpoena. Everybody else is I'm fine with.
That's the officer whose squad video I just struck. So you didn't have him in your subpoenas. So you'll need to, for now, I'll tell the state they can't release him. You'll need to fill out a subpoena, and I need to have that by the lunch hour today in order for him not to be released from the state subpoena.
And I definitely don't want Erica Patterson released from.
But you have her on your subpoena, so I understand.
Of course you don't. Oh God, he just sickens me. He's so obsessed with her. He's more obsessed with her and what happened, and asking about stupid knives and this and that. He's not even thinking about, saving himself from all these other things he did. And now that we know that it's done now and accused for, he is, it's all about the Erica thing. You're despicable. Darrell.
Understand that.
I just wanted that for the record.
Oh yes,
Right,
for the record, yes.
All right, then
Yes,
I will grant
baby,
the
you're gonna
request
have
from the state
Erica
as to
come
Corey
back to torture.
Runkle, Kyle Edwards, and Holly Berg. For now, Officer Phillips will remain under the state subpoena along with Erica Patterson and Detective Guth. We can take issues up with that either, maybe closer to the lunch hour or when we come back, or even at the end of the day. But I would like to bring the jury out. But of course, Mr. Brooks, I need to turn to you first and see if there's any issues you believe the court should address.
Very briefly.
Please don't say very brief.
I just want
Don't lie.
to state this for the record that I would like to issue the court an apology from me
Oh God.
in regards to my actions last week during the trial. I just want the court to understand it's very emotional right now, not only for just the whole situation of the trial. The families here that have to go through, everything that's going to be involved with the trial, but also.
So you know what? Why put them through it? You give a damn about those families. Look at them. What they have to go through. They don't have to go through anymore if you wouldn't drag this on. Number one, you could have not gone through the parade. Number two, you could have put on the brakes. Number three, you could have pled guilty and saved everybody all this agony. And number four, you didn't have to call witnesses that were also victims. So, I mean, I can't speak for the other people in that courtroom or for you all, but this apology that he's going to continue to give, I feel nothing. I just don't, because he doesn't mean any of it.
So my family as well and myself is very, very emotional.
Oh, I know it.
But not to excuse my actions, I should carry myself with better respect than that. I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah.
And I owe you, Your Honor, in the court an apology, and I'm going to stand up as a man and tell the whole court and you, Your Honor, that I apologize to the bailiffs, that I apologize for my actions.
I'll bet Sue Opper is throwing up in her mouth right now as he says this. Look at him. You're not a man. And Bubba is waiting for you right now. You're with Bubba right now.
Like I said, that's not how I was raised. I come from a Christian background.
Don't throw the Christian.
My mother did not raise me that way. She did not raise me.
So connect yourself to Christianity and behave like this.
Frustration and irritation and anger. And I just wanted everybody to know that I apologize for my actions. And I'm going to try my best to, whatever happens, to conduct myself with respect and
Come on,
respect
guys.
to the court. And I just wanted y'all to know that the prosecution, judge, bailiffs, clerks, reporters, everybody,
The victims.
audience, everybody here. I just wanted y'all to know that.
And I'm sorry I ran over your families.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I do appreciate that. Understandably so. This is an emotional experience, I think, for everyone involved. And I appreciate that you, upon reflection, have realized that courtesy and decorum are an important part of a court proceeding. I know that despite you being emotional at times and not being an attorney, you certainly, you're clearly paying attention. You've made some very salient points throughout the last few days. I think you're settling in quite well, and
great.
You know, we're going to keep this trial going. And you know, I know you said earlier, and I just want to make a record of this because it's really important that I do this, sir. You've mentioned repeatedly about your hearing. I know you don't have the headphones on now. We'll give them to you, just based on what I've observed this morning and how you've responded to things that have been said. I think you're hearing us. But if we haven't made the headphones available, we got to make sure we do that every single day so that if you need them. But I do appreciate everything that you've said. And I know we have Detective Casey, who will bring up momentarily for your cross-examination, just so everyone is aware. It's my practice when there's a second day to also put the witness under oath again. So they'll at least be sitting up there when the jury comes in, and then I'll have Teresa put him under oath again. Go ahead.
I don't want you to get mad with me, but I have
Subject
to
matter
say it on the record.
jurisdiction.
Will you be addressing my filings about the subject matter jurisdiction of the court?
I have addressed them previously, perhaps not to your satisfaction. I understand your objections. They're noted, and my previous rulings stand.
Would it be proven?
Sir, my previous rulings stand. That's how I'm going to address that, okay? All right, with that, we'll have the jury brought out.
That apology was so lame. I mean, I guess she had to compliment him. I know that she's doing it correctly. I just couldn't. And look at him. I mean, let's count. Let's see how long it is before he starts acting like an ass again. Ugh. You know he's going to be so annoying in his cross-examination. and try to do all these gotcha moments. And it says here in the record, and he's going to click. I notice he either clicks his fingernail or that little stubby pen pencil, when he's trying to emphasize a point. And now it's just like I can hear it in my head all the time. It's like Erica is in his head. Ugh. Get those papers ready. Can't believe he has his mask on wrong side out. Ugh, again. He's peeking at me. Is the judge peeking at me? God, why are you still going through those stupid papers? If I see his Bible today. Well, there's been a lot of dead air in this particular one. Guess I should have been. Well, look at that. I think he finally does start standing. Oh, he's on a new path of goodness and being respectful of everyone. Not.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. You can sit for a minute. I'll wait till our jurors have their notes ready. And good morning and welcome back. Hope you all had a very nice weekend. Previously, the court received Exhibit 6 during the testimony of Officer Phillips. The jury is hereby advised that the court has struck this exhibit. The jury is hereby advised to disregard anything it may have heard during the playing of Exhibit 6. With that, we have Detective Casey here for cross, as is my practice. When there's a second day, someone's on the witness stand, I am going to have him stand to be sworn in again by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated. And once again, for the record, state your first and last name.
Thomas Casey.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, this is your opportunity to question him.
Oh, Lord, help
Good
us.
morning, Detective.
Good morning.
So, how long have you been in law enforcement?
25 years.
That's a long time.
How long have you held a
I
job,
want
Darrell?
to direct you to the evening of
November 21st, 2021. You stated that you were on duty that afternoon, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall any disturbances that afternoon?
You.
Do you mean when you drove through the parade route? And
Your question was a little broad. Why don't you try to narrow down the time frame?
Yeah, narrow down, you mean.
Roughly
Is that the
around
plaintiff
time
right
of
there?
Maybe 4:30ish p.m.
yes, I do.
Do you remember what you can recall?
Do you remember what you can recall?
Do I remember if I can recall?
Do you remember the disturbance you recall?
Yes, I do.
Would you state what that is? What that was, rather?
I heard a horn beeping, and then a Ford Escape came through the parade route, and you drove past me and wouldn't stop, and you continued driving into the parade route.
You drove past me.
Who is you?
Darrell Brooks, the defendant, seated at the
Quit
table.
squinting your eyes.
Let the record reflect that I do not identify by that name, nor do I know anybody by that name.
Your objection is noted.
So, you heard a horn beeping.
Yes,
Was it coming from the vehicle that you tried to stop?
I believe that it was.
You stated that you've been in law enforcement for 25 years. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be fair to say that you operate a motor vehicle pretty much every day. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I operate a motor vehicle almost every day.
Oh, horse and buggy.
And would it be also fair to say that you would only beep your horn in a motor vehicle if you were trying to alert someone to your presence?
I think that could be a fair statement.
Would it be also fair that you would beep your horn to avoid any danger?
There could be many reasons why a person is beeping their horn.
Would one of those reasons be to avoid danger?
Could be, yes.
Do you recall if you were able to see who was operating the vehicle you attempted to stop?
Yes, I was.
And can you recall a description of the operator of the vehicle you attempted to stop?
He was light-skinned, black male. He had some light facial hair.
Is that all you recall?
That is what I recall.
Do you recall what they were wearing?
No, I do not.
So you were able to get a description of how the operator of the vehicle looked, but not what they were wearing.
That is correct.
Do you recall how fast the vehicle was going at the time you attempted to stop it?
I believe the vehicle was going about 3 to 5 miles an hour when I tried to stop the vehicle, and it continued on past me.
Would it be fair to say that 3 to 5 miles an hour is not very fast?
I think it's very fast when you're in a parade route, when there's hundreds of people marching in the road, and a police officer isn't standing in front of your car, pounding on the hood, trying to get the vehicle to stop. I'd say that that's too fast. Any speed is too fast on a parade route when you have all those people in the roadway. The car should not have been there.
That wasn't the question, but thanks for the commentary.
Such an ass.
Detective Casey, please just questions. Attorney Opera will have an opportunity to redirect if necessary.
I noticed that I would say that I would be like a lot like Nick. I kind of like that pause. We have his eyes looking crazy. Well, his eyes look crazy. Nicholas and Detective Casey. I would probably be testifying like those guys because, you know, it's hard for them to say just yes or no. They want to elaborate more. And I get it because the way he asks the questions, you know, he wants it to be just yes or no or that specific thing. And I would want to elaborate too, like those two. So I get why they're doing it, even though I know, you know, they're supposed to give short answers, but Brooks just drives us all freaking crazy.
Would it be fair to say that that's not a very fast speed?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
He's starting to get testy now. He's starting to click his fingernails or his stubby pencil or pen.
Do you recall if the operator of the vehicle that you gave a description of had any hair on their head?
I do not recall seeing the operator's hair that day.
So it would be fair to say you don't know if they had long hair, short hair, anything of that nature?
That is correct.
Do you recall testifying at the preliminary hearing in this matter?
Yes, I do.
Can you recall what you said when asked a description of the driver of the vehicle you attempted to stop?
I don't recall word for word what I said.
Do you recall being asked the question?
I would think that I was, but I don't recall the exact words that I used then.
Come on.
Just 1 second.
He's so slick because he's got the papers and all that crap, and he's hoping he can have his big aha moment.
Do you recall saying that the operator of the vehicle you attempted to stop had short hair and a short dark beard?
I'm not sure what the context is, but I don't recall saying that the person had short hair.
The context was the question of, did you get a description of the driver of the vehicle you attempted to stop?
I guess I'm not sure when you're speaking of, because was that when I saw the car or when we saw the vehicle after what witnesses said? It seems like I'm not sure exactly the time period that
So
you're
are we
asking.
talking about what witnesses said or what you actually saw?
Correct, that's what I'm confused about.
Well, you just said that you recall being asked at the preliminary hearing that you testified at a description of the operator of the motor vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
I don't understand your question.
I think it's very clear. You testified at the preliminary hearing in this matter, correct?
Yes, I did.
And were you not asked a description of the operator of the motor vehicle that you attempted to stop?
So I believe my testimony was at the preliminary hearing that I did not see the person's hair, if that's the specific time that you're speaking of.
I have a portion of that preliminary hearing that
Look
you
at, he's so
testified at
proud.
with your words right here.
Mr. Brooks, what page are you at?
I am at page 17.
All right, thank you.
Smug.
You were asked, could you see anybody inside the vehicle? Your answer was, at that point, I could not see the person real clearly.
How sarcastic. He's going, Well, he probably did, but he didn't have to. Of course, he is reading it word for word. Guys, this guy is such a joke. and I say all the time. I'm the first one to say it. To admit it. I mean, I will admit it. Okay, let's go on. Let's see what it is.
But as the vehicle continued pushing through me, I was paused. My position changed to the side of the vehicle, where I was directly outside the driver's side window. And I could see inside of the window, and I could see the driver very clearly. Would that be fair to say that those are your statements?
Yes, sir.
So, could you or could you not see the driver clearly?
Quit clicking your pen.
Your question is if I could see him clearly. Yes, I could see him clearly.
So why would you state that you couldn't see him clearly when asked the question?
Oh, Lord.
I think you're asking about his hair.
No, I asked about his hair before. This is a different question.
Could you ask your question again, please?
You just stated that you could see the driver clearly, correct?
Correct.
But you also said that you couldn't see the driver clearly, correct?
Objection, that's a mistake.
Grounds.
Wow. Did you hear how? I just remember now he does. So he so aggressively pounce on that grounds. It's like he's like competing or something. It's almost like it makes me think about, you know, when the people are playing Family Feud and a family member or contestant of the of each team goes up initially and he asks the question and they race to the buzzer, you know, and whoever gets it first gets to answer the question. Darrell, when he goes grounds, it makes me feel like he's hitting that buzzer to be the first one. Okay, let's continue on because this is getting funny, folks.
So, Mr. Brooks, I think it comes down to a little bit of context. I'm going to sustain the objection, and then if you would please rephrase. I think it comes down to at what point in time in the contact with the SUV are you referring?
At any time.
Your Honor, we need the question again. That question is vague.
Right. Put it all together, if you would. I'll sustain the objection.
At any time, could you see the driver clearly? At any time during your attempt to stop the vehicle?
Yes, at any time I could see the person clearly that was driving.
The entire time you attempted to stop it, you can clearly see the driver of the vehicle.
You're going to need to dial it back a little bit. That hideous stare. You got to calm down. You just apologize to folks. Okay. I hope you and Bubba get to do some yoga in there.
Well, at one time you asked any time, and then you asked the entire time. So
Detective Casey, just answer the question, please, if you can. It's not saying you don't understand it.
I don't understand it.
Please move on. He's trying to think of something good to say. What are you going to say, man?
Just a second.
Oh, gosh.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone when you attempted to stop it?
No, I did not.
Did you see the vehicle strike anybody before it approached you?
No, I did not.
Would it be fair to say that there were hundreds of people present at the time that you attempted to stop the vehicle?
Yes, there were hundreds of people there.
And you saw no one struck by the vehicle?
That is correct.
You should stop right there because you're just.
Did you see if anyone else was? Could you see rather, if anyone else was in the vehicle?
I did not see anybody else in the vehicle when it passed my location.
Do you recall there being any tinted windows to the vehicle you attempted to stop?
I do not recall the passenger front or the passenger rear being tinted. I believe that the rear windows in the SUV were tinted.
So it would be fair to say that from your vantage point, you wouldn't be able to see the entire seating of the vehicle you attempted to stop.
Objection, that's a misstatement.
Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
Look at his
Can you
face.
re-ask the question, please?
Would it be fair to say that because of the tint to the rear windows that you could not visibly see the seating of the vehicle that you attempted to stop?
I did not see anybody in the vehicle. I don't think that the tint had any reasons for me not to be able to see in.
So it would be fair to say that you could clearly see the seating of the vehicle you attempted to stop, front, passenger, and back seat.
From the limited view that I had, I thought that I could see it.
Even though you just said that the rears were tinted.
I believe that it's the far back windows in the passenger compartment that were tinted, not the passenger windows, from my memory.
So it'd be fair to say you can recall every window that was tinted on the vehicle that you attempted to stop.
I think the question's been asked and answered, Your
Grounds.
Honor. His answer should
Grounds.
stand.
Hold on, Mr. Brooks.
Calm down.
The objection is sustained. Next question. Asked and answered.
Oh, thank God. Let's move on.
Detective Casey, are you a party to this case in any way?
I don't understand the question.
Are you a party to this case?
I don't understand the question.
Have you filed a claim in regards to this case?
I have not.
Have you read the complaint in this case?
I've read the complaint.
Do you recall who the complaint was brought by?
The complaint is brought by the state of Wisconsin, represented by the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sue Opper.
So the state of Wisconsin then would be the plaintiff in this matter then, correct?
That is correct, the state of Wisconsin.
Do you see the state of Wisconsin present in the courtroom right now?
Yes, I do. They are represented at the prosecution table by District Attorney Sue Opper, Deputy District Attorney Leslie Basie, and Assistant District Attorney Zach Witchow.
You said representing.
Yes, sir.
Do you see the plaintiff?
The plaintiff is an entity. They are represented by the District Attorney's Office.
So the plaintiff is an entity.
Correct.
To the best of your knowledge, is an entity a human being?
Look at that. We got to just freeze right there. Look how he scrunches his eyes up. He thinks he has it nailed. Oh, God. I can't even find any more words right now. Let's just continue.
An entity is an entity. It is not a human being.
To the best of your knowledge, being in law enforcement for as long as you have,
Yes, that's right.
would it be fair to say that an entity, which is not a human being, living person, can bring a claim against anyone?
I believe they...
Object, Your Honor, to the relevance.
Grounds.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I mean, I've tried to be patient, but these questions really have no bearing on this.
The objection is sustained on relevance grounds. Next question.
Have you ever had any interaction with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
How long have you known the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Good
Get
Lord.
your objection out, Mr. Brooks. It's just
Brooks, calm down. He rounds. He's gonna have a stroke or veins gonna pop out.
sustained on relevance grounds.
Well, I do respect, Your Honor. I think that those are valid questions
You're supposed to
the
be just.
matter.
Mr.
Shut up.
Brooks, they've been sustained. Next question.
You shouldn't even be talking right now. Ask questions.
Just so we're clear for the record,
Oh God, here we go.
you did hear the vehicle that you attempt to stop blow numerous times. Blow its horn.
Yes, I heard the horn blowing as it was approaching my position.
Would it be fair to say that that would indicate
You
that
already
the
asked that.
vehicle was trying to alert people to its presence?
Objection calls for speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Speculation.
What you got now? Okay, I gotta just say, okay, the honking of the horn, it still doesn't erase the fact that as he continued through, he plowed over all those people. It's so stupid, baseless, as they would say, you know.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, another second. What's another second?
So would it be fair to say that the beeping of the horn was coming from the vehicle
Really?
that you attempted to stop?
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds.
It has been asked and answered. One last time. He may answer though. Go ahead. The objection is overruled.
Just saying, maybe she'll shut up
I
then.
believe that it was coming from the vehicle that was coming to my position, the Ford Escape.
I want to refer you again to page.
Oh God, could you, this here, dumbass Brooks, would be a great point for you to stop. Seriously. But you're not going to. But go on.
15. It is from your testimony at the
gosh.
preliminary hearing.
Your Honor, that's improper because Detective Casey does not have the testimony transcript in front of him.
The district attorney is correct. This witness does not have the transcript in front of him.
So would that render him unable to recall what he testified to?
I don't know. You have to ask him that.
That's what I was attempting to do.
Oh, look at him getting a little cheeky with the judge. You're so smart, stroking your mask that you have on wrong side out. Oh, God.
So just so I'm clear, am I allowed to read from this?
Just,
Or no?
just
Ask your question, Mr. Brooks.
seriously, just say it.
From the best of your knowledge, do you recall stating in your testimony at the preliminary hearing that it was in fact the vehicle you attempted to stop that was blaring its horn?
Objection, that's not what the
Grounds.
transcript says,
Grounds.
and
Wow.
it's been asked and answered.
Sustained.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought he was going to come up with some new material. I even thought he would be able to. It's still the freaking blowing of the horn. Come on. Something else. You can do it.
Were you injured in any way attempting to stop the vehicle?
I was not injured when I was trying to stop the vehicle.
You already
the
asked that.
vehicle was trying to alert people to its presence?
Objection calls for speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Speculation.
What you got now? Okay, I gotta just say, okay, the honking of the horn, it still doesn't erase the fact that as he continued through, he plowed over all those people. It's so stupid. Baseless, as they would say, you know?
Just 1 second.
Yeah, another second. What's another second?
So would it be fair to say that the beeping of the horn was coming from the vehicle
Really?
that you attempted to stop?
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds.
It has been asked and answered one last time. He may answer though. Go ahead. The objection is overruled.
Just saying, maybe she'll shut up
I
then.
believe that it was coming from the vehicle that was coming to my position, the Ford Escape.
I want to refer you again to page.
Oh God, could you, this here, dumbass Brooks, would be a great point for you to stop. Seriously. But you're not going to. But go on.
15. It is from your testimony at the
gosh.
preliminary hearing.
Your Honor, that's improper because Detective Casey does not have the testimony transcript in front of him.
The district attorney is correct. This witness does not have the transcript in front of him.
So would that render him unable to recall what he testified to?
I don't know. You have to ask him that.
That's what I was attempting to do.
Oh, look at him getting a little cheeky with the judge. You're so smart, stroking your mask that you have on wrong side out. Oh, God.
So just so I'm clear, am I allowed to read from this?
Just
Or no?
Just ask your question, Mr. Brooks.
seriously, just say it.
From the best of your knowledge, do you recall stating in your testimony at the preliminary hearing that it was in fact the vehicle you attempted to stop that was blaring its horn?
Objection, that's not what the
Grounds.
transcript says.
Grounds.
And
Wow.
it's been asked and answered.
Sustained.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought he was going to come up with some new material. I even thought he would be able to. It's still the freaking blowing of the horn. Come on. Something else. You can do it.
Were you injured in any way attempting to stop the vehicle?
I was not injured when I was trying to stop the vehicle.
What did you do after attempting to stop the vehicle?
I first got on my radio and advised the other units that were in the parade route that red Ford Escape had went past my position. I requested additional squads be sent 1039, which means red lights and siren. Shortly after that, I began running after the Ford Escape in an attempt to stop it, but the vehicle sped up to a speed that I couldn't keep up with it until it hit the next position.
Reading from the transcript, page 18.
Yay.
Do you recall us making a statement? Initially, I began, it's sort of what you just said. Initially, I began chasing after the vehicle to try to get it to stop.
And as I was following behind the vehicle, I could see that it was on the north side of the roadway, at times beeping its horn. Would that be fair to say that you made that statement?
That is a fair statement.
So even after you attempted to stop the vehicle, you still observed the vehicle beeping its horn?
Good gosh.
I heard the vehicle beeping its horn after it passed me.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank God.
Yes, just briefly. I'd like permission to put up Exhibit 120 again, Your Honor. It's already been admitted and published.
Permission granted.
Detective Casey, is Exhibit 120 on the screen now?
Yes, it is.
And you've been asked here today several questions from Mr. Brooks about what you saw as the vehicle passed you. Is that correct?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name, and I do not know the person that you refer to.
How about that person in the vehicle?
Objection is noted, it's overruled.
Yes.
Is Exhibit 120, well, strike that. Do you know where on the parade route the vehicle was located when this screenshot was captured?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes, I do.
Where?
Approximately at 200 block of West Main Street. The building directly opposite the Forest Gate is 234 West Main Street.
You were back at the intersection of White Rock and Main Street, correct?
Yes, I was.
So about how far was it from where you saw the red SUV with Mr. Brooks driving to where this photo was, where this video was taken, and this is a screenshot from that video, correct?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name, and I do not know the individual by who you refer to.
Mm-hmm.
Your objection is noted. May I answer the question?
I would say that it's approximately 0.2 of a mile for me, a very short distance.
Okay. Was the appearance virtually the same from when you saw it to when this screenshot was captured?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes, it was.
Idiot.
Are you able to see the driver of the vehicle in this screenshot, sir?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes, I am.
Can you see the hair of the driver in this screenshot, sir?
You cannot see his hair.
Nope.
As the vehicle went past you, back at your post on White Rock in Maine, what were you focused on?
I was focused on the driver's face when it was driving past me.
Okay. You told us on direct examination on Friday you were able to pound on the hood, correct? Were you directly in front of the vehicle at that point?
Objection. It was also, he also said in his testimony on
What?
Friday that
You can't
he
be
could
saying all that.
identify the clothing. He specifically said what the color of the
You're
clothing
attempting
was.
to testify. That's not a proper objection. As to the specific objection,
So improper.
it's overruled, and Attorney Opper may complete her question.
Where were you positioned when you were pounding on the hood of the SUV?
Objection.
Overruled.
And by that, I don't mean the street, I mean where on the car.
I was directly in front of the vehicle by the left front bumper.
Did you have to step out of the way to avoid being struck?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
The vehicle came in contact with me. As it was pushing through me, I shuffled my feet to the side, and then I continued down the side of the vehicle where I came directly in view with the driver's side window.
Okay, so you would have been, what was the driver doing as it passed you?
Objection. Irrelevant.
As he passed you, I should say.
Overruled.
Objection. I do not consent to being called he.
Initially, he was staring straight ahead.
See?
And as I was pounding on the driver's side window, he turned and looked directly at my face.
Okay. And that, the reason you were pounding on the hood and pounding on the driver's side window is what?
I was trying to get the vehicle to stop.
Did the vehicle stop?
The vehicle never stopped.
Did the driver make any effort to pull over or pull off the parade route at that spot?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
I initially chased after the vehicle, trying to get it to stop. I could see the vehicle driving until it crossed Barstow where it first made contact with people. The vehicle sped up and I never saw it slow down or stop until I lost view of it as it crossed Barstow Street.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Oh, what is that? What is wrong with you? What is that expression? You had plenty of time for your cross-examination, asking endless questions about the honking of the frickin' horn.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. And I stepped down.
Look at that face. Oh.
Statement call, it's next witness.
Well, there you have it. The cross-examination of Detective Casey. He did establish that he honked his horn. I think as we proceed later, we will see that he still mowed over multiple people. But I hope you're proud of yourself, Darrell. Well, this concludes this session. Therapy session for maybe some of us. Although my neck is really tight, even though. But I gotta just keep remembering Bubba is keeping him warm at night. It will help us. I hope you all are doing well. And you know what to do. Be kind to one another. Be kind to you. I love you all. Bye.